Hi guys, Victoria here, welcome back. So today you get to see the second part of Helen's core therapy treatment. Last week was the kinesiology muscle testing, and you may have spotted that Helen had worked in the police before, and so she had a couple of knife wounds and a bullet to one of her knees that had obviously calcified and created quite a lot of solidity in that right knee. But we managed to sort that out in this treatment. You'll get to see that next week. Today is the cupping. So cupping is absolutely fantastic Chinese traditional therapy, which is fantastic for bringing circulation to the area. You know, the Chinese talk about what we don't want in our bodies, in our lives, is stagnation. And this is the opposite. This allows flow and movement, allows free movement of blood and circulation, of qi, and therefore of life. So this cupping session will bring all of that warmth and flow to her organs, her spine, her neck, her pelvis, and all of the systems inside. So we're including the urinary system because we're treating the kidneys, the respiratory system because we're treating the lungs, the digestive system because it's covering that whole part of the back that feeds all of those organs in the digestion. Wonderful therapy. Helen really likes it. And watch to the end because some of these cups create some nice warming circles on her, which she doesn't mind at all. They don't hurt, it's just a really nice deep massage. So thanks for watching. Let's spread a little healing.
So I'm just having a little feel of the back now to see initially what presents. So what can present right now is any particular areas of tension, not just with the vertebra, the spine, the pelvis, the neck, but also with the muscles surrounding it. Yeah. This muscle here is called the erector spinae, and then we've got the latissimus dorsi, we've got the beautiful trapezius at the top, and lots more smaller muscles like the obliques. But yeah, here we go. We're just having a little feel to see whether it's rocking and moving. Should give me a nice, smooth, rocking mechanism as I'm gently pushing into the side of the spine. And I immediately feel that this area is really tense and tight here. I think those cups are going to have a nice time up here. Whereas this area, it's not the spine that's tight, it's the erector spinae either side. Can you feel that is feeling a little bit in spasm? I mean, it's nice and toned and firm, which is excellent, but I also need those toned muscles to be able to relax occasionally as well and not be working all the time. They need to sort of turn off sometimes.
Yeah.
How's it feeling there?
So,
Yeah, okay. But it's not like I'm pushing too hard, is it all right?
No,
my pressure?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So when I'm rocking your spine like this, I'm looking down the rest of the body as well and making sure that you're hopefully moving in like a snake wave-like motion. I want your pelvis to be rocking, moving all the way down to your toes. And there is some movement, but I would like a bit more than this really. It's especially here. So how it feels for me is this area of lower thoracics feels a little bit flat. So our spines shouldn't be absolutely dead straight. There should be a little bit of a wave, like a curve to it. And in this section, the curve has recessed, it's come back into you, and I need it to sort of shape up a bit. By warming and connecting with each vertebra separately, I'm hoping that it will encourage a little bit of separate moving so that each vertebra isn't what we call fixated, which means it's stuck to the vertebra next to it, and isn't subluxated, which means it's too far left or right of its normal place within the back. So that's starting to feel better, but I know what's going to make it feel a lot better. You see, this area is feeling great. There's a lot of movement there, it's bouncing, I do like a good bounce. It's flexing, mobile, it doesn't feel sore to me. I've got my thumbs quite deeply in the sides of the sacrum, which is the sacro-iliac separation that I found earlier on your right hand side. But that, how's that feel there? Is it sore? It is. Yes, okay. But what I'm saying is that the movement is really good, so that's quite encouraging. Yeah. And I like a little bit of movement on the sacrum as well. Make sure that it's not completely stuck. Okay, so what I'd like to do, if it's all right with you, Helen, is I'm going to introduce some cups to your back. So if we could stop the camera now and we'll clear. Just going to tie your hair up a little so it's out of the way. Yeah, that's all right. I'm going to put a towel over the top of you just to protect your hair. I'm going to bring this waistband, just do your zip up, just going to bring your waistband down slightly. Are you happy for me to do that? Just so I've got access to the whole spine. Lovely. I might just tuck some tissue around that so I don't get your trousers oily.
Thank you.
It's all right. All right there.
That's lovely, thank
You've got some nice tan lines.
you. It's the same type of vest top I wear all the time.
I could see that. This is your sports top, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just going to wash my hands before I apply some nice organic sunflower oil to you.
I was thinking actually, I was carrying Harry, my grandson, on my shoulders yesterday.
Ah, how
I
old?
could actually feel my spine being compressed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. How old's he?
He's 8, coming on 9.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, he's a weight.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he was a baby.
No.
8 or 9?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So your shoulders will certainly know about that. Probably your hips as well, actually.
Yeah. And I've been going up the hill with my weighted vest on as well. Which
Oh,
is 10 kilos, so
really? 10 kilos?
that doesn't help, I guess. Does it?
Wow.
Probably not good for my joints.
Amazing. Well, definitely good for your fitness, I should think.
Yeah. I must admit, carrying Harry yesterday, that was a challenge.
Yeah, 8 or 9.
Yeah.
He probably weighs similar to your weighted vest, doesn't he?
Oh, easy, doesn't he? But he said to me, "No, why are you puffing?" I said, "Because you're heavy, Harry." He said, "Well, Jack, who's my youngest son, he said, Jack doesn't puff when he's carrying."
Oh, really?
He's over 30 years younger than me.
Yes, yes. Oh. Jack doesn't puff. Yeah, yeah, gosh, blimey. Out of the mouth of babes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got some nice organic sunflower oil on your back. Just having a look at the contours of your back and where I want to be working. I've got a nice big cup here. So Helen, a lot of the time I'm talking now, some of it's for the camera, so you don't have to be in conversation with me, and you can just relax now if you want to. Yes, all right. So I'm just warming up a cup, testing it on the old forearm. So the first one's going on. So I'm just going to be doing nice, gentle, what we call flash cupping at first. This is where very gently it's sucking up the muscle, the skin, the blood, the circulation, gently up into the base of the cup, calling for the blood to come to the area. So I've worked either side of the spine, down the erector spinae. Now I'm coming actually on the vertebrae themselves, if they'll let me, sometimes with nice strong backs, like Helen's. It will, like that, it will shift the cup over to one side or the other because of that strong erector spinae. Yeah, it's moving without me. Oh, and then on that lovely sacrum at the bottom, feels great down there. So what cupping is for is to call the blood to the area, and in Chinese therapy this is what they call movement of qi. So where there's blood, there's qi, there's life. And if there's any areas of the back, for instance, where there may be a paleness to the skin tone, and despite working on it with Tuina first, then that tells me that that area hasn't a good free-flowing qi or blood movement through that part of the body. And that, so cupping will aim to correct that. So what I'm doing now is moving cupping. I've done some gentle flash cupping, and now I'm just moving that lovely rosiness of the upper shoulders down to the mid-back, about T12, where I noticed earlier on Helen's left-hand side was subluxated. So I'm just doing a little movement there. You notice the flame is almost non-existent now, so I'm just going to extinguish this and get another cup while I leave this one here. Okay, so I'm going to bring another cup into play. It starts off quite cold, the cup, so I try and warm it up a bit so it's not a shock to the body. It's nice and warm. I always test it on the forearm. Got a nice big flame here. I keep it away from the body or from me and my hair. Nice and warm. I'm going to introduce another cup to the upper shoulder. So because it's a nice strong flame now, we're getting a little bit more strength in the cup, which is good. We started off with a more gentle flame, a more gentle flash cupping. We're now working down each side all the way to the sacrum. And it's producing lovely rosy tones as I'm cupping. That's a good sign. So I'm working around the scapula, the right scapula now, just to make sure that the tones are nice and rosy, not purple, certainly not black or dark, and also not too pale. So these ash marks coming up will happen once you've got larger cotton wool buds because of touching the edge of the cup as the cotton wool goes in and out. They come off easily. So this is the area earlier that was very tight. Just wiping off some of those. They'll probably happen again, but making them come off in that oil. They come off very easily. There we are. So the flame's descended a little bit now, still nice and warm, and warming each side and up that central part of the thoracics, which we're feeling a little bit recessed earlier. I want them to respond by changing their shapes slightly, that they'll, if you like, pop out a little bit. So I'm going to use the cup to massage at the same time. That feel all right, Helen?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Do say if there's anything that's too much or too tight.
No, it's great.
Yeah. Trying to get onto the spine as much as possible. It does help to massage with the cups, if you like, the muscles either side, because that in itself will help relieve the vertebra, the spine. Going for another cotton wool. So the other thing we like to do in cupping is bring the energy down to the kidneys. Kidneys are just above the waist level. They're equally both sides of the spine, about here. If anything, the right kidney is slightly lower than the left, about like that, because of the liver being in the way. So I'm going to introduce some smaller cups now, while leaving those on the kidneys. You'll see they're going nice and rosy. They're definitely doing their job there. I'm going to leave a chain of cups on those thoracics. That's great. They feel all right, Helen?
Thank you.
Yeah. And then I'm going to work on the muscles around those thoracics. Just to make sure that they're warm and loose, flexible, that they're not in spasm. Using a mixture of moving cupping and flash. That all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice and strong, isn't it? Yeah, you're doing really well. That's good. Circular cupping. Okay, I'm going to leave that up there. It's a small flame now. We'll have to see if this one's going to work okay. It's nice and warm. Yeah, it's nice and strong still. That's good. Okay. So by coming around the underside of the scapula, it helps relieve any tension of muscle that's dragging the scapula and twisting it. We want to make sure that the scapular tension isn't pulling the spine one direction or another. It needs to be nice and loose. That's good. That's better. Yeah. Okay. And nice suction noises. Coming back to some bigger cups for the lower back. I want to have a look at that pelvis. Because of the tests that came up earlier showing that the left side wasn't happy to open. It wasn't happy at the lower or the greatest amount of opening. There we are. So I've got a chain of 3 across the sacrum. They will carry on doing their work there. I've got 2 on the kidneys. Just correcting them slightly. And then just a few on those thoracics that I felt were a little tight when I was feeling them. Plus the left side came up earlier when I did the psoas test. They feel all right, Helen?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Good, looking good. You're going to be a pepperoni pizza later. Okay, would you like a blanket over you while I'm working on your legs and hips?
Oh, that'd be lovely.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah.